Product placement is a painful thing.
Subscribe.
When it's done well, it's seamless. Subscribe. And you don't even know your brain is being manipulated. Subscribe. It may happen for a second, it may be a prolonged shove it down your throat kind of moment.
Subscribe.
But regardless, it's a way of taking something you love and sprinkling in a dash of pandering in hopes to help sell more of something.
Subscribe.
So with that being said, today we are looking at the top 10 shameless ads in video games. Let's jump in. Subscribe. In at number 10 is Fight Night Round 3. Burger King. Starting off our list from 2006, here we have an ad for Burger King that features some boxing. Oh, sorry, I mean a boxing game that takes place in a ring with a giant Burger King logo in it. But don't worry, the game takes it further than that. The king himself makes an appearance too, as your corner man, because he's totally qualified, showing us that his interests go beyond just eating burgers. It's absurd, but just comical enough that it avoids being entirely groan-worthy. If only he were a playable character. Up next, number 9 is Burnout Paradise. Product placement isn't the only ad that gets shoved down our throats. Burnout Paradise was a 2008 game that featured billboards that were Barack Obama political ads. Available on the Xbox 360 version of the game, the campaign ads ran from October 6th to November 3rd, the eve of the US general election, and only for the states of Ohio, Florida, Iowa, Colorado, Indiana, Montana, North Carolina, New Mexico, Nevada, and Wisconsin, all states that had gone to Republicans in the 2004 election. The ads appeared in a total of 18 games that were available in Microsoft Live. Up next, number 8 is Phantasy Star Portable 2 Pizza Hut Armor. I mean, I do love me some Pizza Hut, but I really don't think it'll do much in terms of protection when it comes to battle. The Japanese PSP version of this game teamed up with Pizza Hut and featured a wearable pizza box suit of armor, and a pizza box shield, and a pizza pan weapon, obviously with pizza on it. So much pizza. For a duration of time in 2009, if players found a special portal in the game, they could be transported to a rare block, where they'd find Pizza Hut stores, containing all these wonderful Pizza Hut related items. Now I'm hungry. Up next, number 7 is Cool Spot. Ad for games are a whole other fun breed of video game. It's games whose sole purpose are to advertise a product, by including that product in every aspect of the gameplay. Essentially, the game is sponsored by a big product or company, and that's how it gets funded and made. This 1993 game called Cool Spot fits that profile perfectly. Gee, I wonder what it's advertising. You play as Cool Spot, the mascot for 7-Up, in this platformer, collecting spots as you go. The game even had a sequel, called Spot Goes to Hollywood, which was panned for its isometric perspective and unusual controls, making it hard to play. Up next, number 6 is Mick and Mac Global Gladiators. Another example of an advert game, this 1992 Mega Drive and Genesis game Global Gladiators is a platformer where you play as either Mick or Mac, and it is a McDonald's themed game. You're armed with a super soaker shooting goo at other goo, with an implied environmentalist message and a bunch of little floating golden arches to collect in order to advance. You're guided by Ronald McDonald, which is kinda creepy since there doesn't really seem to be much of a goal to this game other than Ronald transporting these kids to dangerous goo-infested levels to have an adventure. Not even really any burgers. Up next, number 5 is Pikmin 2 and Duracell. The first treasure you can collect in Pikmin 2 is the Courage Reactor, aka a Duracell D battery. So if you're unfamiliar with the series, Pikmin follows alien travelers who land and explore a foreign world, our world. So in a way, it makes sense that perhaps they'd run into objects that are branded. But considering these aliens are quite tiny, it feels as if we're having giant adverts thrust in our faces as opposed to organic objects that exist in the world, especially considering that the brands aren't all over the place, just in specified moments. The Japanese version of the game also had its own branded battery, the National H-Top, that was featured in the game, and the American version also had a few other products placed within it, including chopsticks and a jar of Skippy peanut butter. In at number 4 is Alan Wake and Energizer batteries. Speaking of batteries, let's take a look at Alan Wake. So Alan Wake is an action-adventure video game that is based off of the thriller novel of the same name. You play as a writer who is trying to uncover the mystery behind your wife's disappearance, all while trying to avoid getting killed by murderous shadows called the Taken. Your flashlight is the only effective defense against the Taken. And how does one power a flashlight? Batteries. Energizer batteries. Yep. Additionally, Verizon also shows up in the game as an ad, on billboards and on TVs. Up next, number 3 is Mafia 2. Mafia 2 takes place in between the 1940s and early 1950s in a fictional city based off of New York City. In between causing mayhem and working for the mob as a classic gangster, one of the various side tasks is to collect a series of Playboy pinups. While some found the Playboy collectibles to be interesting relics of that time, making them collectibles just for the sake of collecting them was mildly irritating. Had they been viewable art throughout the game and not something you needed to get 100% completion, the ad would have felt a little bit more organic, and part of the world itself. I mean, hey, it is fitting. And it also carries over into Mafia 3, who also features many a Playboy pinup. Up next, number 2 is Mario Kart 8 and Mercedes-Benz. DLCs are supposed to be satisfying extensions of a game, further enriching on its story or giving us more content to sink our teeth into. But in this case for Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, well, Nintendo figured giving us Mercedes to drive around in was totally acceptable. When what feels like an ad jerking off on itself, this partnership between Nintendo and Mercedes-Benz felt excessive. Yes, the Mario franchise is enjoyed by all ages, but to a younger demographic, marketing expensive sports and luxury vehicles felt redundant. And finally, in our number 1 spot is Metal Gear Solid. Mountain Dew, Axe deodorant, Doritos, Apple, calorie-made diet foods, Playboy, Pepsi, the list goes on and on. I mean, yes, some of these items maybe, arguably at best, kind of make it feel like Snake is actually part of the real world, but a Mountain Dew t-shirt? Come on, you're one of the longest running game franchises out there. Do you really need those extra advertising bucks? Subscribe. Don't we all? Yay, capitalism. Alright, there we have it, friends. What games have bombarded you with shameless ads? Let us know in those comments below. And if you'd like a part 2 of this list, give us a shout about that as well. If you dug this video, make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons, and check out some of our other videos on our recently uploaded playlist. In the meantime though, thanks for watching. I've been Kelly Pally, and this has been Top 10 Gaming. I'll catch you guys in the next one.